Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. Today on the program, we're taking a detour from winter to see some of the award-winning work done by professional Vermont landscapers. Some of the breathtaking projects include outdoor patios and porches using native plants and locally sourced materials like stone or wood. These projects can cost several $1,000s or just a few $100s. To find out more, I'm joined by UVM Extension horticulturalist Leonard Perry. Welcome to you, and you've brought a special guest.
I have, Judy. It's great to have Ed Burke back with us. I've been working with Ed for some years since he became owner, took over Rockydale Gardens in Bristol, but great place for perennials, and also worked with Ed through the Greenworks, Vermont Nursery and Landscape Association, where he does many things. Ed's been on the board there and involved with the flower show, and today the topic is the Landscape Awards program.
So Ed, tell us a little bit about the Landscape Association's annual contest.
Sure. I think this is probably our 7th or 8th year, and we have several categories. We have small-scale residential, which is part of a property, and large-scale residential, which is a full property. We have commercial, and we have design or build in all of those categories.
And so there's a committee to judge the winners?
There is. We bring together a panel of judges from various professions, landscape architects, academics, horticulturalists, and they come together and sit in a room for a whole day, and they look at all these projects, and then they decide on which ones to award.
About how many projects are submitted?
We usually get anywhere from 10 to 15 projects, which is probably a good percentage. Our membership is about just under 200.
Terrific. Well, I'm eager to see the winners. Where should we start first?
Okay, well, why don't we start with the commercial category. Okay. Again, those commercial type landscapes. In this first one we're looking at, we had one award winner, the Honor Award. This is build, meaning the judges were looking just at the construction, not the design of it. So it's always a hard thing to differentiate those two. And Di Stefano Landscaping was the winner there. This, a lot of people may recognize, that's Champlain College, and this is their new communications building. And so, Ed, you can probably tell some reasons that this won.
Well, it was a pretty complex project. They followed to a T the landscape architect's patterns for all the stone. There were bricks and stone and all sorts of different paving patterns incorporated into this. So it was complex, and they were also under a very strict timeline because they had to get it done before the students returned.
And as you can see there's just a lot of that intricate detail. It wasn't all just straight lines and all those special cuts. So a lot of detail went into that, and and it had to meet not only for the thousands of students walking on it every day, but vehicular traffic. So a lot of pretty tight specifications.
Interesting. So you said that there was just one commercial category winner. I assume the rest involved residential properties?
Oh, that's right, Judy. Yeah, so we have the two, as Ed mentioned, the large scale we'll take a look at first, which meant not necessarily large in scale, but the whole property. And so this was the first one. Ed can tell us about.
Yeah, and so this is a pretty traditional home. I think this is in the Woodstock area. And one of the nice things about this project was sort of the subtlety of it and the restraint to create something that was appropriate both for the home and the neighborhood. And the judges felt that they did a very good job doing that. They used a lot of Incredible hydrangeas in the front, very traditional plant, goes well with the picket fence. And they did a lot of work in the back as well, creating sitting areas. Using, here they've used coral bells or euchera, and they've also used a, I think that is blue oak grass, Helictrichum. And they used the natural stone from the area. I think they've used a bunch of granite in there as well. And that is the back of the house, the entry drive. The judges felt they did a really good job of creating a soft entry to this house with a gravel drive and again, its subtlety.
It's hard to tell on the right. They mentioned they used a lot of native plants like the shadbush to provide screening so people really wouldn't see that terrace as much.
And this is one of the terraces with a fire pit that they installed near a dry creek bed. I don't think that runs all the time.
Right, just down in the back. So a lot of different types of things on that landscape, which they're in Woodstock. And then I thought this was interesting too. That again, some of these we have the before picture. Here was the before, and on Lake Champlain Merit Award. Again, DiStefano Landscaping, and then after.
Wow.
Yeah, and this one has a lot of wow effect. The description of this project was that the owner really couldn't get to the pool. It seemed very disassociated from the home,
Right.
and I think they did a really nice job of making that connection and obviously transformed the space into something much more contemporary and useful.
Yeah, they used a sweet potato vine, a lot of people are probably familiar with, along the top of that wall that cascades down to kind of soften the effect. And then they used, we saw in the last one and this one, a line of ornamental grasses to kind of provide a little bit of screening from the pool.
And I believe they used Pennisetum rubrum in the planters that we saw on the wall, and that's probably a miscanthus that we see with the lake in the background.
So again, taking advantage, some of these took advantage like that of the view, which was great. And this one I thought was nice too, just as they come out the back, you look over a lot of native plants in this landscape, and they'd seen another place with a lot of zinnias. They really wanted that same effect. So hence the far bed, a lot of zinnias, and they have children, so an area for them, a vegetable garden, they could all work in.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Then, another before picture on the corner,
Yeah.
the few shrubs that they had originally,
Wow.
Yeah.
then afterwards.
That's a huge
Yeah,
difference.
plants look better than mulch, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again,
to
some of the
say.
darker sweet potato kind of spaced, and again, creeping over the wall, but yeah, just chock full of plants and, one of the native birches there. So again, a large scale, meaning the whole property. This one was down in Hanover, a home, and people here wanted to entertain a lot, so they needed some spaces for that. And this before picture in the front, you can just notice along the front of that little porch there. Then we'll see the after.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah, they decided to put a fence up to grow clematis up the fence to create a little privacy from the road, which you can't see, but is fairly close to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, the before, going down back, and you can see if you had people, it'd be kind of hard to navigate those little stones and not much going on in the back, a lot of overgrown shrubs.
Wow.
Yeah. So they did a lot of leveling and terracing here. And what's really nice is how they used the slope without building a large retaining wall. They decided to plant the slope and then run a set of steps down in between the two plant beds, which I thought was a really nice, softer feel. And you can see the beginnings of a water feature that they installed there, a big stone pillar.
Yeah, this gives it a focal point.
Terrace with a central water feature, and then I believe that was the cat on the slope, the Nepeta. They had
Catmint.
catmint. Just letting it go crazy and cover the slope, but great for pollinators, plus the effect in the summer. Then this, again, a before picture in Essex, the large scale, again, build. So the judges were again looking at more of the construction on this one. But before leading to the house, you can see it's kind of overgrown, kind of hard to maintain in the winter, those rocks there.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little bit more fitting, I think.
Yeah, they just did a really good job of organizing the space and making a safer, more secure, and easier to navigate entry. Of course, taking pictures at night with the lights like that makes it look fantastic, but they really did a nice job of incorporating some of the natural stone with the new stone walls that they built.
Yeah, I think, you see the boulder on the left, that's a good example
nice.
of that. And then, of course, at night you can see they have night lighting, which is good in a lot of landscapes for safety and all. Again, out back, again, before picture.
And take note of that boulder.
Yeah,
Yep.
And then a hot tub, they needed access around the corner there.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So there they have it.
And there you could see the same boulder straight back. So again, they did a nice job of incorporating the existing boulders, maybe moving a few of them around and building the steps up, again, safe
It's
to
a more
navigate.
formal look without it looking too overdone.
I agree. It made it safe, it made it very comfortable and useful, and then kept the natural feel.
And if you go up top of that little walk, as you come out, that's what you see looking over. Again, using the borrowed landscape, as they say, and taking advantage of those views of the horse pasture and horse barn in the distance, but kind of framed with the porch columns.
Very pretty.
I thought this detail was nice. Just, again, something a lot of people could do at home with just some little pavers and planting thyme and a few other creeping type perennials around that kind of soften the effect.
Yeah, really pretty.
I can almost smell the fragrance as you kind of walk on that thyme,
Yeah.
you know. And then another small, so again, I guess those were the large scale.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to take a look at the smaller scale.
Yeah, and small scale being, again, not small in scale necessarily the land,
Right.
but a small part of the property. So
Yeah.
I think that's especially important with this first one we'll take a look at. So again, we'll start with the before picture. And again, the build, so we're looking, judges were looking more at construction on that. You can see a slope there, just kind of overgrown.
Wow.
Yeah. Another impressive project. These folks needed to make needed to be able to use their backyard,
Right.
which just sloped away. So,
And you can see just the tons of fill they had in terracing and paving stones.
I mean,
and-
that's thousands of dollars, right?
yeah.
probably.
Yeah. And then, you know, upper level, they incorporated a pool. It was lifted in and a hot tub up there. So
It's a serious job.
a lot of construction going on there. And then another small scale, this is a design. Judges were looking at the design on this. Got the Merit Award. See the before, this is near the lake, and then you see the after. So
What a difference.
Yeah. They created a nice space up top for the people to enjoy both the view out over the water and place to entertain.
you see the owner wanted a lot of bold colors, so he got that with masses of perennials, wanted a water feature to kind of help, even though it's near the lake, to help drown out some of the noise of the neighbors which are adjacent, and you can see that bubbling down there. Again, a before picture up top, as Ed mentioned, and then the after.
That's really
Again, nice
striking.
space to entertain. Then this is a before of some perennial beds. Ashley Robinson did this, a design. And then this was after planting. So you can see all the plants in. And then I believe this was maybe a year later.
Wow.
Ed?
Yeah. She basically over a couple of years, she was able to achieve this effect. She kept mown paths in between the beds and basically planted big swaths of perennials, a lot of them native selections. And I think it's to dramatic effect.
See a lot of grasses in
yeah.
there, the feather reed grass and, you know, a panicum, a switchgrass,
Yeah.
a Joe Pye, phlox, a lot of these native plants, but in masses.
Yeah, and there's Helenium and Sanguisorba, many other plants too. Yeah.
Then again, using that view, framing it with the wall I put in to see the landscape. Then finally, this was nice because this was not only honor award in a small scale design, but a judge's choice, their favorite. Before, in just a small urban front, and then here's the design that Sylvia came up with to show the homeowners, and then here it is going in. So you can kind of see just a few $100s, a very small space, shows what you can do, limited budget and limited space, and there's the final.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about the contest in all is we go from bricks and mortar to insect hotels. And that's what those little houses are near the front entry. They put things in there to attract insects. So this is an ecological design.
That's wonderful. Ed, tell us a little bit about your association, Greenworks, which sponsors this contest.
Greenworks is a professional organization for landscape designers, landscape architects, landscape contractors, irrigation specialists. There's a long list. But anyone involved in the green industry. We have somewhere around 200 members, and we have 2 meetings a year, plus several workshops throughout the year. And I encourage anyone who's in the profession to join us. We're good at getting people into education formats, into workshops and things for more training.
And I know you have a couple of websites you want to mention.
Yes,
Leonard?
the Greenworks website is one people can go to, and actually there are things there for the consumers too, like the certified horticulturist list of those, and that's at greenworksvt.org. And then of course my website, the perrysperennials.info, where I have garden tours, which I'm doing in conjunction with Greenworks. So you can check out all those there.
Good. Bring on spring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Sure.
That's our program
Thank
for
you.
today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.